everybody. Thanks for joining us. Today we have one of my best buddies from Las Vegas, Nevada, Mr. Albie Vas. How you doing, Albie?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for having me on.
Well, I've known you for quite some time. I've referred business to you over the years, and you do a great job for people as a Las Vegas real estate agent. And why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I've been in real estate for almost 14 years, with Keller Williams for 13. So it's been a pretty nice run with KW. So, I focus pretty much on the Summerlin West Side part of Las Vegas, but I do sell around the whole city because it is pretty small. We're 50 square miles. So for special occasions, I'll make sure that I'll hit certain spots. Pretty much want to be in anywhere there where I don't get shot. So there's some areas I may get shot. So I may not take every referral in that area, but overall, it's, we do investments all the way up to luxury to that first time home buyer. So pretty much cover the whole gamut on that.
Wow, that's great. And so as far as what's happening in Las Vegas, like, do you have personal income tax in Vegas?
Oh, no, we don't. So we are a tax-free state. So the other people that try to say, oh, we have tax-free as well. So it's like Texas. So the difference between Texas and us is we have no state income tax, right? No state income tax. Texas is always like, oh, we got no state income tax, but yeah, you have high property taxes. So you take a look at a property that's $500,000 in Texas, it may be anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 in property taxes. Here, it's about $4,000 to $5,000 in property taxes. So it's pretty low here.
About 1%, Albie?
Yeah, it's about 1%.
Wow. So let's talk about condos for a moment in I guess Vegas, Henderson, Summerlin. I imagine there might be quite a price difference in those three areas, or no? Are they pretty similar?
Yes and no. So condos is like its unique product in itself. It's just crazy. So I always tell everybody, I'm like, look, if condos could do traditional sales like FHA, it's VA, we would sell a lot more of them, but majority of the time they fall into that condo cert where you have to take a look at, is there owner occupancy? What the percentage is that? It usually fails because it's like 90% rentals, which is good for, the owners. And then the second one, is there any kind of litigation? How much HOA funds are in there? Right. So normal traditional loans just don't go through. There's like one or two that are out there, but so that keeps the prices kind of low. But let me give you a huge example of the price difference between Henderson and Summerlin. So a condo, I think they said they could do 6 buildings for 180,000 on a piece of land, right? For the land to be 180,000, it is 3 times more expensive to do that same 6 buildings in Summerlin. So that's the price difference. But it just depends on what the product is. You have some really nice condos that are, in Henderson, Lake Las Vegas that are really nice, and then you also have some of those in the Summerlin part. So it just all ranges. So it's pretty tough to figure out and make, hey, well, this is a lot better. But there are some really cheap ones in areas that, could be some nice incomes. It just depends on what you're looking for.
Right. So for $500,000, I could probably get a brand new condo in most parts of Vegas. Is that true?
Yeah, absolutely. So $500,000 is probably on a little bit of the high side. So you're looking at probably somewhere in that 350 range or below. If 500, you probably be able to get something on the Strip, and maybe a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, not so much, but a 1-bedroom, a studio on the Las Vegas Strip. 500 is probably going to be a little much in Henderson. It's just, at that price point, it does move into single family at that price point. I would say in that 350 below, in that range would be something that, it's condos are pretty easy to get at that price point.
Great. So, and what are the HOA fees? What are the HOAs like every month?
Yeah, so they ran the gamut. It just depends on the building. So the normal building, it could be anywhere from $120 up to maybe $600-700. It just depends on the building and a different classification. Because you do look at an apartment building. So you take a look at a building that's brand new, like let's say off of Green Street in your area. I'm like, oh, that's brand new. So it's going to have a higher HOA versus something that's further down the road on Los Robles. So this is how it works there. I'm from Pasadena, so that's how I know.
That's great. So I'm wondering, with it seems like you have so much more new construction than we do here in Los Angeles or in Pasadena. Are there new subdivisions of single family going up as well as condos and townhomes?
Absolutely. Just in my area alone, because I'm currently in construction on my new house. In my area, we have, I think it's 7 different builders, and I want to say it's got to be, I think 40 different models that they're building in my area. So overall, there's tons of construction, because if you take a look at Vegas on the map, it's like, it's all desert. We got tons of land. A lot of the land is owned by BLM. That's Bureau of Land Management. So it's like, they'll do auctions. Hey, buy this land, buy this land. So we are spreading out. So in Summerlin, we are moving west towards the mountains, and we're probably at 60% done. So there's another 40% just in Summerlin to build, but you have Henderson and the Northwest that are still building out to their areas.
So what's your inventory look like? Like if you were to compare it from this year to last year, do you have more for sale or less for sale?
So it's really crazy. So last year at this time, we were a little bit higher than we were today. And it's right. Kind of fluctuated a little bit. So once we hit into mid to late January, things got really crazy. So at this time, we were at 3,200 homes available for 2.2 million people, which is really low. A normal market for us is going to be anywhere from 11 to 12,000 homes available. And side note, in 2011, we were at 22,000 houses for sale during the crash. So it's like pennies on the dollar. So today we're at 2,400 houses available. So a large part is just everyone was buying really hard over this last 2021. 2020 was pretty good too. Back then we were probably having 3 to 4 offers. We would go, oh, okay. So we knew every time we offered on something, it'll probably be the second or third house. During the whole summer, which I think everybody else had the same problem as well, is we were 30 offer for certain clients, just weren't winning. We're doing 20, 30,000 above, waiving appraisals, nothing, couldn't get anything to bite. And the majority of that part, especially in that 350 to 450 range, we have Zillow and Offerpad playing in that arena. Right. So what they were doing is normally they were just buying or sending out their flyers, right? Oh, we'll buy your house before it even hits the market, right? But they ran out of, I don't want to call it pyramids, but they ran out of people. So then what they were doing is they were buying houses off the MLS. So anytime you listed something that fit their criteria, an email would come in with a contract, says, hey, we're going to give you this amount. And it was all automated. So we were losing a lot of houses to them. So they were buying anything from that 350 to 450 and paying 5% above list price, regardless of market value. So maybe that's the reason why we had some issues with that.
Right. Now with Zillow, I know locally they came in the market, and I was sort of competing against Zillow Offers a couple of times in listing presentations and trying to help people sell. And Zillow was offering a substantial amount over and above fair market value. So I was selling a condo that was like $520,000 in Pacoima. Zillow gave them a cash offer at $580,000. Right? Yeah,
it was crazy.
So then, with their process, Zillow comes out, they send an inspector out, and then they make adjustments to their offer. So in this case, they dropped the offer by $15,000. So $565,000 is still, $45,000 above what fair market value is for that particular property. Right. And Zillow found out in a hurry that business model just did not work.
Absolutely.
And it's going to be interesting to see how many they have to dump. I forget how many thousands of homes that Zillow bought.
It was 7,000 homes.
Yeah.
And then another weird part is yesterday I was out showing and I saw there was a house listed by Zillow. And here's the weird thing too, because I'm a statistician or anything, but I do look at the numbers a lot. So when you take a look at the numbers, so the average list time, so days on market, is 12 days or less, right? It is what it is. Then you take a look at the Zillows were at 54 days. What seems to be the problem there? And I'm like, there's holding costs. Maybe they don't have holding costs, but the house we saw yesterday was 42 days. Every other house was 3 to 4 days.
And was it priced? I'm assuming it was
So
priced
the
higher.
price was right at where it needed to be.
Right?
And the house was probably one of the only ones that we've seen in the last probably month or two. Is it looked ready to go. It just needed carpet, which is fine. You know, that's not no big deal, but it was priced right. But they had previously priced it 40,000 more before. So, and I think that's where they get issues. So, you know, I just look at those things. It's just the small things that people see is what they see is higher days on market. There's something wrong with it, right? Because the house should have sold. They
That's
look
right.
at it, I'm like, hey, I'm going to show 3 houses today. And I'm like, why is this one so far off? Everyone else is on day 1 or 2. And then it's already going to have a bad taste in its mouth. So, and I wrote about that the other day too, in Lab Coat Agents. And I'm like, hey, they want us to use their system to put the offer in, which is .loop. So I went through, I put the, you know, the offer in through .loop. It is day 3 and I have not heard back. Call the number, it doesn't work. They send an email, I got nothing. So I get you have 4,000, 5,000 homes you do as a sell, but still, you know, I'm trying to help you out.
Yeah, I don't. It's, you know, I'm glad that portion of their business model or their revenue stream is failing, and they're gonna put their resources elsewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. And then here's another part is when they're sending out those Zillow offers. So I had a client that originally their offer was going to be X, and then at the end of the day after they looked at it, it was 300,000. So they didn't owe anything on the house, and they're like, "Hey, we have squandered our retirement fund, and we don't have a lot of money." So that 300,000 was good for them. Then their son came out to me, he goes, "Look, they're about to sign the paperwork. It's already in their inbox. What can I tell them that, you know, to stop them from selling to use you?" And I said, "Look, if they could wait an extra 30 days and maybe get an extra 50 grand, that should be enough because they don't have any more money. That's it." So they thought about it and they came to me. They actually ended up netting 92,000 more.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So 92,000 more,
That's awesome.
especially at their age and their retirement, and it just worked out better for them. And here's the funny part is the guy who bought it, they bought it as is cash, right? So good deal. He flipped it around. So that price was 425. And let me just tell you that the house needed a lot of work. He flipped it in 2 months for 600,000. And I'm not going to lie, that thing looked like a dime. It was so beautiful.
Wow. Amazing.
Oh man, I would have bought it.
So hopefully Zillow Offerpad, OfferUp. I get emails monthly from Offerpad, and they keep raising their offer for my house $100,000 at a time.
Wow. Yeah. No. Absolutely. So here's their biggest scheme problem for them is, so originally what they did was, I'm like, all right, let's do the basic. Let's do paint, carpet, paint and flooring. If it needed some kind of, countertops or maybe stain the cabinets, maybe we'd go into that if it allowed to the budget. So what we were seeing is they were buying the houses like the one we went to go look at the other day. It's listed at $499. They showed that they bought it for $535. So, and they originally went to sell it at $545. And that was the only one that had paint versus the last couple in the last 3, 4, 5 months where they didn't do anything. All they did was buy it and then put it back on. And it was beat up. Nobody wants it. They want a little effort into it.
Is this a Zillow property?
Yeah, Zillow property.
Yeah.
So before, but the old scheme was we would buy it, we would put new paint, new flooring, and then people walk in. I'm like, hey, I don't have to do any of that. And they think paint's going to be $7 grand, flooring's going to be 20 grand. I'm like, oh, I saved myself 25 grand. In reality, it's a lot cheaper than what I expected. So, and they walked into a better property. But I think when they got away from that, because it could have been a labor shortage or material shortage, they're like, hey, let's continue to scheme. The market's still going. We'll just make that delta difference between what we bought and what we sell it at. But it comes to is like they were just putting bad property onto the market. And, it's like when we list property, we try to put the best property we can to market because we'll still get X amount of dollars, but we also want to get better terms, better product, better terms, more offers.
That's right. The consumer has so much information at their fingertips. And if you're in a subdivision, right, or a tract of homes that are all 3-bedroom, 3-bath homes at 1,800 square feet, right? The consumer, the Zillow or anybody else that's $40,000, $50,000 higher than the other homes that are for sale, they're helping you sell your product at fair market value. right? Because consumers know that. They're like, these are, it's an apple and an apple. We're comparing two very, very similar products here. They're both, they're both 4 years old, 5 years old, et cetera. They both have the same stainless steel appliances, the same finishes, et cetera. So I'm just going to spend $50,000 less and buy this house.
Exactly. So, that's why we want to bring a better product to market. And then here's another little trick that we do here. It's pretty easy for us because with, in our MLS, we don't have, the first picture doesn't have to be the property front. Does that happen in your MLS? You have to be the first picture in the MLS has to be the property front of it?
No.
So yeah, ours isn't either. So Vegas is very cookie cutter. So you take a look at the 1800, Richmond, that is across the whole entire city because it's a good product, but it's the 1800, it's the same exact one. They could give it different names, still the same exact product. But instead of showing, hey, that's our first picture, we try to show, hey, what's the best part of the house? And usually it's the kitchen or the master bath or the pool. Hey, that's our number one picture because they're scrolling. Oh, hey, let me look more. It's kind of like not a clickbait, but it's like, hey, let's take a look. And another small tip that people should do is professional photography. I just don't understand why people just don't pay the money for the professional photography.
Is that even a question, Albie?
It is. So you take a look at our median price. Our median price right now is right around $440 to $450, right? The median price for the home houses across the city. If I do a search on that, and then I just do a search between 440 and 460 and look at the houses in there, you're probably going to get 40% of them are going to use professional photography. The rest is going to use probably a cell phone.
Pitiful.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's just really bad. And, one of the really cool things that, we've been doing for a while is some of the twilight photos. It costs more money, but it is just it's gorgeous. It's just so pretty.
Yeah, it's cool,
and
right?
Usually
do you have drone? Are you using drones out there much?
That's the problem here is we don't use a lot of drone because there really isn't anything to look at. It's maybe for some of the luxury houses, we'll do the video and we'll do the drone as well. But our normal cookie cutter house, is $450,000. You're not going to see anything. It's probably going to maybe hurt the price because when you look at it, the houses are going to be like this. They're all stacked on top of each other.
Yeah.
So it's even on my new house, I'm pretty blessed that, I'm able to get a 1/4 acre in Summerlin, which is unheard of. And I don't have a neighbor to the side or behind me, but I do have a neighbor to the side of me, and that is 8 feet. So you got to take a look at $1 million house is next to another $1 million house, and that's 8 feet difference. Yeah. Luckily, I don't have anyone behind me or to the side of me. So that was one of the beauties of that lot.
Yeah. Well, I imagine maybe in more of the luxury properties that are an acre.
Yeah, and once you get into the customs where there's an acre to 2 acres on those. But outside of that, or there's certain areas of Northwest Las Vegas, they do have a lot. In the Southwest, it was pretty semi-custom builds in that area too. But those lots are hard to come by anymore. And Section 10 as well. They had the large lots there, but it's getting pretty rough out there, and especially on the size of the lot.
So anything else you can tell us about Vegas? What else do we need to know about moving to Vegas?
So if you're moving to Vegas, number one, you're going to have to love sports because we are now becoming the sports capital of the West Coast, right? So, we have that beautiful stadium. If you haven't been inside of that stadium, you need to go look at it. Even if you don't like the Raiders, you don't have to go to a Raider game. You can go to any other event. I think we had the Pac-12 championship here. Now we're going to have the Las Vegas Bowl, which I believe it's Wisconsin and ASU. And then my college, UNLV, is there. So I've probably been in the stadium maybe 14, 15 times as well. So, and then we're looking for the A's to be coming here. So there's already been an offer put in for the Tropicana. So the Tropicana is on the corner of Tropicana and Las Vegas Boulevard. That is a casino that's probably from the 70s, 80s, a little rundown-ish. It's not my favorite. Actually, I haven't been in there in probably 20 years, but they're looking to just tear that down and put a stadium there for the Oakland A's if they do make the move, but they've already offered on that. So then we have the Golden Knights as well. So that arena is brand new, really nice as well. So almost as good as that Crypto.com one, but actually I think it's a little bit better than the Staples Center.
The Raiders, who's the title sponsor for the Raiders?
For title? Stadium. That is Allegiant Air.
Allegiant Air
So
Stadium.
it's Allegiant Stadium. Yeah, so it's Allegiant Stadium.
That's an amazing looking building there.
It is. It is incredible inside and out. It's just
Yeah.
super cool. And then when you're in there, you can take a look because it has a large window. Then you can see the whole Las Vegas Strip when it's nighttime.
Wow, beautiful. Gonna have to visit there.
Yeah, absolutely. So we just really don't have traffic. Yesterday, the only time I ever saw traffic was a car was caught on fire, and then it's like, oh, we went X amount of miles per hour. But outside of that, it's pretty open roads. Unlike when I lived in Pasadena, I wouldn't even go visit my brother in Arcadia because I didn't want to jump on the 210 and be on there for 30 minutes to go. I think he lived 9 miles away. It was faster for me to ride my bike than it was to jump in the car and visit him.
Yeah, it happens. What are you going to do?
Yeah, absolutely.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, the beauty part of this city is just when you're coming from California, things are a lot cheaper here. I like to explain to people, I'm like, look, California is used to paying for, a $25 burger, and it's just a normal burger, right? $25. You come here, our burgers are $10. So you're willing to pay the extra $2 for the bacon and guacamole, right? I don't know if people put guacamole on it, but throw it on there. So $12 is still a bargain for them.
Yeah, that's true. And the Strip is really, just the Strip specifically, there's amazing restaurants on par with any major city around the world.
Absolutely. So they're opening up that guy that does the little salt thingy.
Yeah.
I think his name is Nesto. His restaurant should be open anytime soon. I can't wait to go because I love his Instagram.
Yeah, he's pretty funny. He's entertaining.
So, and that's the beauty of social media too. If there was no social media, you would have never even heard of this guy.
Yeah. Yep. That's right.
So tons of great restaurants on the Strip.
Yeah. Awesome. Albie, thank you so much for visiting with us today, and hopefully we'll see you real soon.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me on.